right, so we're rolling.
Are we rolling?
What episode is this?
18.
Sylas, welcome to the Dry Scoop podcast.
I appreciate it.
First ever guest over Victoria. Victoria doesn't count as a guest. Brian decided earlier, so
She's just down the hall.
first
She doesn't
one.
count.
Yeah, she works here. Sylas, you are one of the owners of Rage Fitness.
Yeah, co-owner. Yeah.
Co-owner. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm curious because I'm not from here originally. I'm from Nebraska. How did the whole conception of Rage start? Kind of just take me through the beginning here.
Yeah, I'll give the brief summary of it. So I started out there just working there. The old owners brought me on to kind of help them out and kind of create a culture. And then they decided they wanted to sell it. And my partner came in and bought it, and then it just kind of evolved from there. So then I became partner in it as well, and just we grew it from there. So we went from the one location, now we're at 5.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you worked with. That's how you got started.
Yeah, I worked with Rob and Hunter originally.
And it was Rage then.
It was Rage then. Yeah, it was Rage then. So they brought me in. They were a little bit new to the gym world, and I kind of came in and started training with them. Sheila, actually, I think she worked with Titan for a while. One of the athletes. She actually needed help with some of her clients. She had an overabundance of clients, so I kind of came in there and helped her with that, and then that's how it just kind of evolved from there.
Where's she at? Is she still in town?
I think she might. I kind of lost contact with her, but I think she's back in town. I think she was in Texas for a while.
Okay, sweet girl.
Yeah.
So you were in there training, doing.
Yeah, I was training. I was training people, and then I helped. Then I became on as a manager there, and then it just evolved from there. I was actually going to leave when my partner Brandon bought it. I went down there because I didn't know Brandon.
Yeah.
And I went down there to quit, and he's like, "Well, why don't you stay?" Because it wasn't really something I needed to do. I was doing it because I knew Rob and Hunter, and I was helping them out. And I went down there to quit, and Brandon's like, "Why don't you stay on?" And blah blah blah. And so I stayed on, and then I actually started training Brandon, and then we just started talking, and then it just kind of evolved from there.
Cool. Yeah. So what were you doing prior to that got you into Rage to begin with, where they're like, hey, come help us out?
So Sheila needed help with her clients because she had so many clients. She was a personal trainer there. And so I was taking some of her clients, trying to help her out. Like I wasn't even taking any money from it.
Right.
I was just helping her out. And then
There were positions available.
Yeah. If you want to work for free.
I seem to do that a lot. I seem to do that. It's worked out actually, but I've seemed to do it a lot. And then the owners there, I got to know them at the time. I kind of got to know them just in passing, obviously. And we jived really well. They're both from Texas, and they're like true Texans, and they come from like the flooring industry, which they have a flooring store now in Nixa, and they have one in Springfield as well. And they're just like both real hard-nosed guys. It's funny dudes though. Like if you like those type of guys.
What's their flooring business?
Floors Plus.
Is that the one that kind of back behind the Nixa?
So no.
But I always see people in their flooring shirts. Is that I don't know what the name is.
Floors Plus is theirs. Like if you're going in there early in the morning, they're both in there. It's a father and son.
Okay.
Hunter and Rob, like they're both so rowdy.
Yeah.
Like they're just and they just both feed off each other, and it's just, I mean, I have stories.
That's cool. They still work out there.
Dude, they're good guys. Yeah. They're great guys.
Yeah. Have they ever been like, holy shit, you grew this a ton?
Yeah. They've said that, and they've also said like, oh, this is what we were kind of planning on doing with it. You know, kind of like I used to be 300 pounds and bench 500 pounds. Yeah. Like one of those. Right. If you work out.
No. I used to, when I was your age.
Yeah. When I was your size.
Yeah.
When I was your size. No, you weren't.
Yeah. In fact, I had, this is funny. This is back at the Mercy days. Okay. And I was working out with Big Ben.
Yeah.
And Big Ben is actually, I got done. I've never been a huge lifter, but I got done. I did a set. I had 495, and I squatted like Ben spotting me. I get like 5, and a couple of people stopped and were watching. Well, there's this old guy. Do you remember? He had a cane with like the duck on it. You know what I mean?
I know exactly who you're talking about.
I get done, and I'm holding on to like the side, like the safety bar, like breathing, and he points his cane in my face. He's like, when I was your age, I used to do that. And Ben, right after he goes, when you were his age, no one used to do that. Because this guy's like, he goes, I'm serious. Find me one picture of Arnold squatting more than 3 plates. You can't find it. They didn't do it. You'd have been the strongest person. You'd have been the strongest person in America if you were his age.
That's been 100%. If I didn't even have bars that would really support that, then honestly, it'd be bent in half.
It is like I'll probably do the same.
Oh, 100%.
I hope I do.
I do it now, and I'm 38, and there's guys in there. I'm like, dude, I was doing that, and then I think to myself,
I just said that.
Really, most of it I did, but sometimes I elaborate a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to get way off subject, but at Kingsley, especially when I go in there are sometimes I want to hide. I'm like, what in the? When Frank and I, we were talking, like, what the fuck is in the water here? There's monsters in Springfield.
Yeah.
That gym has attracted every strongman bodybuilder. Like, they are coming out of the woodwork. There are some, if you want to feel small,
I just feel like
go work out at Kingsley.
I feel like these people have been around to a certain degree. And then obviously I feel like, as you guys have seen, fitness has become so popular. I think, like, the statistics on it, and don't quote me on this, obviously, but like all my friends that own nightclubs and stuff like that, like, there's such a drop in this younger population going out and drinking and all of this, and then fitness, the uptake of that, the gyms and all of that stuff. So I feel like
that's the hang.
Yeah, that's the hang now. Like,
that's the social currency.
Yeah, that's the thing now. Yeah. So I think we've kind of built facilities for those people to gather, and they're there for sure.
Monsters.
Yeah,
young guys too.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a cool thing now to get into fitness, which is a good thing. Everybody's trying to be healthy,
Yeah.
And Brian's mentioned this before, and I said it to you before, but like, you're like an artist with gyms. Like, they're all really cool. Like, where does that conception come from? Like,
dude, I just do stuff that I like.
Yeah.
Really. Like, I feel like that's kind of what probably every business owner that has any real longevity probably does, is they do stuff that they like and they're really passionate about, because that's what's going to last. And and you'll usually gather your people from that. Obviously I went outside the box. Like, I set up the gyms to accommodate tons of different types of athletes. Obviously stuff I don't do, but it would stuff I want to do.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I just try to put everything in there that I would want to do if I was an athlete.
So we should back up a little bit for those listening that don't know Rage. So Rage Fitness started here in Springfield in Nixa, that Sylas talked about. He bought that facility, but for those of you listening, and Luke put some overlay on this so people can see the facilities and stuff. Went from that facility in Nixa. Then we had another one kind of midtown on Campbell.
Yes.
Then we have this huge facility on Kingsley.
Yeah.
And then another one downtown, which used to be, it was
Royal
Barbell.
Yeah,
so those, and then just recently, congrats, you purchased House of Pain.
Yeah.
In St. Louis. So now gone from 1 to 5 gyms in how much time?
About 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So 5 gyms in 6 years. And these are, if you guys haven't seen them, these are destination gyms, I would say. So certainly the one on Kingsley downtown. But what's funny is, before that, I was telling people that about the Campbell one. Oh my God, it's 2 stories. It's, you guys see just the artwork on the walls, the equipment that they allocated towards it. So, and kind of what Tyler's mentioned, I do want to elaborate on, is they weren't just built maybe in your image for you. These are very bodybuilder friendly. You said, I know you're not a competitive bodybuilder. That's how you train.
Yeah.
But they're strongman, CrossFit, very functional. Like, they're just for everybody, and they're curated with the best equipment you could find.
That's kind of what I feel like that's kind of what we're becoming known for. And I think there's a lot of gyms that have great equipment, but we really, one of the big things is that, like, we live the lifestyle too, and everybody we involve, like all of our employees, they all work out, so we're really good on the equipment, because we kind of know what really works, whether it's old or it's the best of the new or the best of the old stuff. I know the pieces, so I can bring them in, and it really works well.
Yeah. I really like iron.
That's probably my favorite too.
Yeah. There's something about iron plates, and there's a little bit old school gritty, but it's also just really badass. It reminds me of just like being in high school, because all we had were like old plates, so you're hand cleaning with these freaking iron plates on there, and the clinging, the sound,
But like the posing rooms and recover. I mean, talk a little just about the facilities.
So kind of the idea behind the facilities is, especially here in Springfield, the thought behind them is, all of them, all the things you said, you can do all of those things pretty much on all the clubs. We have a turf area in all the clubs, all of that, but the equipment is selected with purpose at each club. And so if you're a gym rat and you have a gym membership to Rage, depending on the day and what you feel or whatever, if you walk into Rage, yes, they're all going to have a similar feeling, but they're going to be all completely different too. And so they're all going to have their own vibe, but they're all going to have a Rage vibe. But it's really hard to explain unless you bounce around all the locations. but different equipment in all the clubs. So that way, if you're partial to this on this body part or whatever, you know, you can bounce around and you get the most for your money, especially in the area. And House of Pain's a great addition to that. It's really a mix between Kingsley and downtown. It's got a really cool feel. I don't know if you guys have ever been there. You guys will have to make
I'm trying to think now. Kingsley, it's like, hold on a second. We picture Kingsley in downtown having a baby.
Yeah. Okay. It's a cool feel because it's in Chesterfield, which is a very nice area, obviously, in St. Louis. So it's a freestanding building. It's about 17,000 square feet, very open, like Kingsley. And but the equipment has the best of the new and the best of the old. Joe, well, he was a professional bodybuilder, the previous owner, so he hand selected a lot of the equipment in there, and we're getting ready to put our own touch on it too, and just kind of keep elevating it from there. So
you'll remodel some of the equipment.
Yeah, we'll bring in some new equipment, take some stuff out. There's not a turf area in there as of right now. We're going to put a turf area in there, things of that nature. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that staying House of Pain?
It's RF House of Pain. We're going to leave that brand's such a strong brand, especially in the St. Louis area. But honestly, that brand is a little bit of back history on it. I'll keep it short, but that brand started before like Flag Nor Fail. They started out as apparel. So they started before Flag Nor Fail.
They were like the original like graphic tees and
yes,
stuff. Graphic tees were
interesting.
Yes, they were the original like graphic tees.
I want to say I had some House of, like going to like bodybuilding shows. That's how I knew House of Pain.
If you watch some old Branch Warren videos, even he's got on House of Pain tees. So I want to leave that brand.
It's a cool name.
And not to, I won't touch on this too much. But so my first little gym, I come from rough beginnings, but my own first little gym literally was a carport that we converted into a gym, closed the walls in and stuff, and it was called Sylas's House of Pain. And one of my
Where's this at?
This is in Rogersville.
Okay,
cool. Yeah, it's in Rogersville, right off Main. So the carport's still there. But one of my friend's dads actually made a sign that said Sylas's House of Pain. I wish I still had that.
Be awesome.
Yeah. But so it's kind of cool, and it was a really cool thing to purchase that gym because it even had more meaning.
Do you like pictures of it?
I don't. No. I passed out in that gym because I had one of those like ventless kerosene heaters, and I was running during the winter, dude. Because it was so, I didn't know what I was doing. I had the whole thing mirrored out.
You're like asphyxiated, basically.
Yeah, and passed out in there. Yeah, and I had the whole thing completely mirrored out, like nice mirrors. But when you put in mirror, I didn't know what I was doing. When you put in mirrors, I actually attached them to the wall and everything. But I butted them right up next to each other. Well, with the temperatures, the expanding and stuff, I walked in one day. I turned on the kerosene heater, and I had a treadmill inside, and I was running on the treadmill. I came out. I was letting it heat up so I could work out.
Yeah.
Dude, all my mirrors had exploded because they expanded. Shrunk and expanded.
I would have done the same thing.
Dude, it was a nightmare.
This could have been we could not be talking to him today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a crazy thing to be inside that when that happened.
Yeah, I really think that's probably what happened that led me to like face tattoos and stuff is too much inhaling too much kerosene, honestly.
Well, at least we have a culprit.
Yeah, we can narrow it down.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Good stories out of that. That's a great like origin story.
Yeah.
So and then it comes full circle to the House of Pain.
I didn't know the Rogersville story. I got to know Sylas when you had to be in your early 20s working out at Mercy.
Man, I think I was even younger than that. I think I might have still been like 19 or so.
Were you really? Yeah. I remember there's this.
We're old, dude. We're old now.
We are. But at the time when
Especially Brian.
So you're 38?
Yeah.
So I'm 43.
Mm-hmm.
When I'll be 44 next month. When you're 19.
Yeah.
They're like a kid. Like I'm graduated college, but real.
Yeah.
So Sylas was this. He was one of those kids.
Yeah.
Like this fucking enormous kid who's incline pressing 405 at Mercy. Like, who is this? We had some mutual friends, and how I got to know him. And the Mercy Fitness Center was kind of a really good secret because it was.
Dude, it was awesome.
It was a mix. I don't know who curated that gym. Someone like that really knew what the fuck they were doing because 150 pound dump. It was built for big, strong guys. But the clientele was, I think the average age was 86, maybe.
Yeah.
So Sylas stood out.
Well, but there were guys.
There was monsters in there too.
There were. Yes.
It was like it was all the old people and then the most serious people.
Okay.
In Spring, kind of, some of the most serious bodybuilders and stuff in Springfield. They had a very A lot of like competitive bodybuilders and stuff worked out there.
Yeah,
back in the day.
It was 2 stories. So the upstairs was basically all machines and a track upstairs and cardio where all the old people would walk. So you didn't get a ton of old people down where we were typically training, which was awesome because you had this elevator too. So when you're a fat, lazy bodybuilder,
you can work out and then take the elevator, to cardio.
And dude, I can't tell you how many times people do
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I think, and you'd know more about this than I do because I moved here in 2005. You're native. It was when there was a Gold's Gym, which was basically just kind of across the street. And when that shut down, that became like that was the place to go. And there was, other than like Genesis and corporate gyms, there was no.
Yeah, it was Ozark Fitness at the time.
Right. Ozark Fitness, like there was just corporate, like that kind of feel where you had your spin class, knew that. So there was no hardcore gyms.
Yeah.
Once Gold's shut down, a lot of people just migrated over to this. It was now. I guess it was St. John's, but it was immersive. It was part of the healthcare.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they had great equipment in there.
It was great. Yeah. It was really good.
They had, this is just this little anecdote. I'm into Olympic lifting and stuff. And I was at Health Track Sports Medicine. And then they had these like Workson, Usaka, these Olympic bars that, you know how much barbells can fly. You can get a barbell for $75 or you can pay $1,000 for a good like Workson like Olympic bar. They had bars that ended up going from Health Tracks over to, they just like, it was all in the same systems. They just put them over at the Mercy Fitness Center, which was kind of crazy. I'm like, this is $1,000 bar. Well, then when that place closed, they sold those and they sold them like packages of 6 bars for $50. Some of those bars were used in the 96 Atlanta Olympics.
That's wild.
Crazy. Wow. Yeah. Like you could spin those bars like a top. Crazy. Like it's in someone's basement now collecting dust.
That's kind of cool though.
I didn't go over there. I'm like, they're going to bid. Those are going to, I don't want to.
I didn't either. The same thing. Like I didn't go in there auctioning that off.
Yeah. A buddy told me they just did like 6 bars and it was like $50 for a pack of 6. I'm like, what?
I heard the same thing. Some of the old hammer strength that was awesome. That stuff was going for like $50 a piece, $200 a piece.
I wish.
Wild. I know. Knowing now. Yeah.
Yeah. That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
With your guys' growth, I mean, with the House of Pain and stuff, was that opportunistic? It just kind of fell in your lap, or are you still going to look to even expand past that?
I don't see us stopping expanding. I would say we'll continue to expand. That one wasn't something that I was like actively searching for. It was a phone call that I was on with the previous owner, and he'd kind of dropped a few things where I'm like, well, why don't you just sell it to us? And then that spurred from there, and then it became like probably a 6-7 month process of purchasing, a lot of back and forth trips. Before the purchase was ever even made, I think me and Brandon probably made 30 trips to St. Louis, up and back. Yeah, it was an ordeal. Yeah, because we like to do. We're really old school some things, so we like to do everything face to face. So we'd make those trips. Yeah, get up early, come back late.
Yeah. What is this, about 3.5 hours from here?
So to House of Pain from here is about 3 hours.
Okay,
on the dot almost. Yeah.
Gotcha. Are you guys gonna do any smoothie shops or anything inside of House of Pain? I
don't believe so. S2 is straight across the street from us, and that's their biggest location.
They got a smoothie.
Yeah, and we're working with them right now to have like a household smoothie over there and stuff. So I think we'll just keep that back and forth rapport there because it's so close, and let them have that piece of the market for sure. And they're great to the members over there. So
partnership wise, it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Especially feel like around here, it's kind of now it's kind of turning into this Rage S2 Titan. Area.
So very symbiotic.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Well, we invited Sylas on. We had a listener ask, would you guys do gym pet peeves? I'm glad I'm doing it now and not back when we were at Mercy. I would have probably had a whole lot more to say.
A lot more.
Yeah.
But there's plenty to bitch about with gym pet peeves. And you mentioned all the new people coming in. And so we thought, if we're going to talk gym pet peeves, who better than an owner of 5 gyms? I'm guessing yours is probably different than like the layperson going into the gym.
Yeah.
Different perspective.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think there's the obvious, like the person who doesn't put their weights away.
Yeah.
Cleaning up the equipment when you're done with it, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'll just say, I would start. I think mostly what people bitch about, as I've gotten older, I've kind of changed my opinion on gym pet peeves. And what I look at is you know, because you think like, you know, this fucking guy didn't, whatever, guy, girl, whatever, they're not doing their lifts right. They're not getting any good out of it. They're, you know, whatever, like bitchy about what their version of exercise is versus yours. They're on their phone too much. And what I kind of come back to is, you know, what are the percentage of people that are even getting off their ass and going to the gym and trying to improve themselves?
Yeah.
And so I'm just, as I get older, I'm willing to let a lot more slide and just think, man, congratulations, you even got off your ass and made it into the gym and made an effort, and maybe just being around it and seeing other people work out and stuff. There was a time when I didn't, you know, I look back at programs I did I think anybody, if you look back at what you did 5 years ago, it's like, I can do better than that now.
Yeah.
Then there's no growth. So I think like they're just on a path and they're figuring it out. So I've probably, as I've gotten older and I think a little more mature, I've kind of let a lot of that stuff slide. You know, even the young guy I was in my folks workout at your Nixon location. I was in there, and my dad's kind of giving me the. And there's a dude in there just flexing his ass off, you know, no shirt on. It's a busy gym. Posing. He's kind of, people are walking around him. He's got his camera set up. I'm like, I don't know if I was ever that. I don't know if I ever did that. I didn't let us take our shirts off. But like, you know what? He's 19. You know, he's got some muscles. He started with some muscles. He's getting after it. You know, whatever. You know, kind of funny.
I'll piggyback off of that, dude. We'll bring Big Ben back into this. So, because I came up when those guys were at their biggest, obviously, and that's kind of the guys locally that I would look up to, right? And dude, you didn't make eye contact with those guys.
We've talked about that. Yes.
You did not make eye contact with those guys. Like you didn't look at those guys. And not necessarily because they were mean, but like it was just a different atmosphere. And now it's completely different, man. Like all these big guys now they go out of their way to help people. Right. That's what's so different about fitness in general. Because back then, like if you were a bodybuilder, you know, or anything like that, you were kind of just locked in and you weren't really talking to anybody. You weren't any of that. And now it's just completely different. People, you know, they'll help each other and stuff like that. But going back to like the posing and stuff like that, dude, you stayed completely covered up back in the day. Everybody stayed completely covered up. You wouldn't even see the biggest guys typically working out even in a tank top. That was the thing, stayed completely covered up. Now it's completely different. You'll have a guy that's 2 days into his gym membership that's never been into the gym before hitting a pose. And then not only that, they're in the posing room, you know, and now it's on Instagram for everybody, not just who was in the gym.
You did this on purpose.
This was intentional. And I don't know if you saw this, but you accidentally posted this picture with your shirt off. The confidence is awesome. Like it's awesome. Like I commend them for that.
That's a good word for it.
Confidence. The confidence is awesome.
Your ego. No. Your confidence is off the charts.
Well, the goals are just different now too, right? Like it's just we were talking about training and like how strong people are and all that stuff, right? Dude, honestly, like there's still a lot of really strong people, but man, the mentality of training is even different now because there's so much science based. So it's like it's like, let's send it. Like, let's put as much weight on the bar as we can. Mm-hmm. Let's go until we cannot go anymore. And then let's pick our next exercise and do that same thing again. And that's how I trained. And
the reason I had to have a spotter was because I knew I would go till someone picked me up. And then that's when the set was done.
And now they have I don't even know the terminology. Like this is probably my biggest pet peeve, honestly, is like all the science-based training. Because I'll interact with somebody that's maybe 4 months into their fitness journey, but that's watched every YouTube video.
Yep.
And I'm like, hey, dude, and this is not made up numbers because I was chasing Ronnie Coleman's numbers. Like that was the numbers I wanted to chase because that's what you looked at because there's videos of that, right? And so I was chasing those numbers. So like, I just wanted to be able to move the weight that he did. I wanted to get to 300 pounds. It didn't matter what it looked like. You know what I mean? Like that was the benchmarker, right? Well, these guys now are watching all these YouTube videos and they're science-based lifters. And they're like, well, I don't want to create too much training fatigue, or I can't remember what the terminology is, but essentially you're stopping like 2 to 1 reps short of what you think your failure
in reserve.
Of what your failure may be. They have a different term for it now. Like it's super popular.
It's not reps in reserve anymore.
No, reps in reserve is RPE. Is still a thing, but like they have a different terminology for it, and I can't remember what it is. So somebody in the comments can tell us. You know, they will. So it's just different, and they'll try to tell me like this is the way you should be doing it. I'm like, dude, you don't have any muscle on your body. There is no muscle on your body, and I've never seen you.
I hear the words,
but
I'm not seeing.
But people don't on a regular basis that are trying to bodybuild, they don't train heavy anymore. Like it's about like tempo, which all of those things are great. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, dude, the main thing is the intensity. There's like, no substitute. Kind of going back to what you said, like where you, as you've gotten older, like they're getting in there and they're doing something. Like if you're intense, even if your form and everything's not like, you don't want to see somebody get hurt, obviously, but even if your form's not great or any of this, but if you're being intense, the results are going to come unless you're insanely advanced where you really need to get really technical and be very intense, you know, where you've kind of maxed everything out and it's like, now you got to start like really honing in on what you're doing. But other than that, dude, man, like you need to send it. You need,
I get that with all the fitness apps and my trainer and my tracker and I didn't get my rest, so I got to like, man, sometimes the best fucking training app is a sweaty ass shirt at the end of your workout. Like I fucking worked today, dude, you know? Most people, when they walk out of the gym, like you can't really even tell that they were in there a lot of times. And that's not everybody. There's people that work hard, but it's just a different thing now. Like it's very different. It's great because there's a lot more people that's involved in it, but I want to see that intensity come back and some of that old school mixed with some of the new stuff. Some of the new stuff's great. Yeah. But I want to see some of that come back. I definitely train lighter now. I mean, not just because I'm older, I can't lift as much. Yeah. But I'm definitely more cognizant of how I'm going to feel the next day. You mentioned the RPE. Have you ever done it?
Yeah.
So I did a couple months of it and liked it. I liked it. It was very different. I was training, a body part twice a week and do that. So I'm like, well, you get bored with your own. I've never, outside of being in a college program, I never had anyone. I was a trainer, so I never had anyone program for me. I'm like, I'm going to try. I'm just fucking bored. But quick anecdote. So on the first workout I did, I remember it was 2 sets of barbell walking lunges, 2 sets of front squats. Yeah. And I take things very literal. So it said 3 reps in reserve, meaning you could only do 2 reps, whatever, 2 reps and you would fail on the third, or 3 reps and you would fail on the fourth. So I'm like, well, I do walking lunges, but I grab 50s and do them at the end of my workout. And I count to 24, 1, 2, 2, 12 each leg. Like I never really tried to do, so I do the warm up. You do 12 at what you think is like 50%, and then 8 at whatever, and then 4, and then but I'm thinking you're supposed to fail or go reps reserve on the app between 5 and 30 reps. My God, lunges, I don't want to do 30 reps. I don't know what can I do basically to shorten that. So I put and this is at Nixa. I actually I was like, I wonder if I'm on camera doing this because I get 150.
Do you remember the date and time when you
we'll put it in this. Well, I felt like I'm in the way. I felt like I'm in the way because it said barbell. Yeah. You have the preloaded bars, but they're 100 pounds, 150 pounds. I'm like, so I go get bumpers, put them on there. I have 155 pounds. I'm like, okay, I'll do this. I did 36 lunges. Okay, 18 each leg. And I'm like, because I'm 24, I'm breathing hard. But I'm like, ask myself, could I do 3? I'm like, yeah, I could do 3 more and not fail. Yeah. Again, I'm taking it very fucking literal. Yeah. I do 2 sets of 36, then go over to front squat. I don't front squat very often. So I'm like, well, what can I do? I'm like, well, again, 5 to 30. I ended up, I really didn't need to warm up. My hips were on fire. Yeah. I put 315 on and did 2 sets. I think I did like 10 the first set, 11 the second set. That's about 90 pounds more than I would usually front squat. Yeah. The next week, or then actually like 4 days later, that same workout, walking lunges, like I couldn't do walking lunges with no weight. Yeah. So it was, I didn't plan on the intensity being that, like really taking it literally, the reps in reserve. Yeah. But I did it for a couple months. I'm like, okay, got it. But it has made me change my training, the way I warm up. That was good. Yeah. A side note, I did notice that Dr. Mike, he's really down on front squats now. I'm like, what the fuck was I front squatting every week if you have a war on front squats now?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like you've been training for a long time, so you kind of know where your limit's at. A lot of people that are buying these programs, they don't even know what their reps in reserve are because they've never pushed it to that point.
And you're really wondering in your head,
they're like, I'm starting to feel a slight burn, so I probably got 3 reps left. You know what I mean? I'm gonna rack this. You know what I mean? I'm starting to, the exercise feels like it's starting to do something. I'm gonna rack this. That's probably where they're at mentally.
I'm thinking like my eyes are gonna come out of my head. I'm gonna burst a blood vessel, but I could still probably stand up. Yeah. In 3 reps. Better do another one.
How many force reps do you see in the gym anymore? Very rarely do you see force reps, and not very many people train together anymore. Like even big guys,
that's true. Yeah,
you don't
headphones on and go.
Yes, the big guys, they're not even trained together because they're not pushing the weight, and they're not pushing past failure.
Honestly, I can't remember the last time I asked for a spot.
Yeah. But you're in a different spot in your training. You know what I mean? You don't need to do that anymore. Yeah. You don't need to do that anymore.
How many of those people you think are doing that scientific programming that are just doing it for their general fitness versus the people that are actually trying to like compete in something? Because I think that's where people maybe overthink it, where maybe you don't need to be doing an RP, periodization if you're just trying to get in shape.
Yeah.
When you could go to a basic, 4 sets of 10 and you can really push yourself just doing that.
I think there's a lot of people. I mean, I'd say the majority of the people that are buying those programs, that's the people that are doing it. And I'm not sitting here trying to hate on any of those programs. Sure. Because that's what's become popular, so it's great, right? Like, because it is more people into fitness, and more people are doing it. Yes, and you don't have to think about it as much and all that stuff. And a lot of these apps and stuff are so easy, and they lay everything out exactly how you need to do it. And it also, they're like into it. You know what I mean? They're almost like lifting nerds almost. Yeah. If I was going to say, you know what they are, they're almost lifting nerds. They get really into it, and they get more into like the programming and stuff really than the lifting itself. Yeah. Like, and it's like, dude, just fall in love with the lifting. Everything else kind of comes. Right. You know what I mean?
I think that's like almost like when CrossFit became really popular. Let me tell you about the workout I did today. Yeah. Which, to be fair, like my wife and I, we probably at least several times a week, like, what was your workout today?
Yeah.
Let me tell you mine.
But you got to share that passion.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I liked it. I like those apps because it makes you do different things. Kind of like train. If I come train with you and say, what are you training today? I'm doing chest. Oh, me too. I'll jump in with you. I'm going to do a very different workout than what I normally do. I don't think that's always necessary to change it up. I know professional bodybuilders who've done the same back workout for 3 years.
100%.
And again, it's not the variety, blah, blah, blah. Like, they just train hard. They just train hard, and that's a good back workout. Yeah. And they continue to grow. And,
but that, like what you just said right there, like you might hop in with me and it'd be something completely different, right? Well, people, like we just said, people don't train together anymore, so they need something to tell them to do something completely different. Yeah, because they don't do that back and forth anymore.
I'm guilty of it. Like I do the same shit, especially because we have the gym here.
Yeah, well, you're on limited time usually too. It's like you have a lot of other things to do.
Exactly,
so
that's
it's
why I don't go to Kingsley because I'm like I know where everything is. I can just
I'm gonna hop right in. I got my routine. I know what I'm gonna do. I know what hits hard. I know I know how I need to feel at the end of this. So and you just get right in there. It's efficient. It keeps you stay in great shape. Exactly, and it is what it is. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that either.
Right.
I'm speaking more for the younger generation. All these things that we're talking about are great tools. They just need to get the intensity. Yeah. Worry about the intensity more than anything, and falling in love with the lifting itself or whatever type of training it is. It doesn't even have to be lifting. Yeah. Whatever it may be, fall in love with that, and not so much all the science stuff. Fall in love with that, and then add all that stuff in later. Yeah.
On intensity, I'll hop on that because I think if we're talking pet peeves, I really don't have many. I really like. I'm glad you're in the gym. Happy to see you.
I'm kind of the same way. I don't have because a lot of my employees will be like, "Oh, look what they're doing." But I'm like, who cares? Like if they're not hurting anybody,
they're not going to hurt themselves, not endanger someone else. I don't care. But here's
I'm kind of a bad person. Sorry about that, guys.
No. Here's what I say.
Really don't have even what people are wearing. I don't. I mean, obviously, I can't really judge too much. I can't come in firing shots on people, man. Like,
so we can play to your employees like, listen, this guy with the face tattoos and the body is really intimidating me. Like, that's the owner.
This guy over here with the face tattoo and the pit bull, what's going on? Because that's what you're going to see.
Dog in here.
You come into my gym, my pit bull is going to be right next to me the whole time, and I'm going to be training. You know what I mean? But
does he follow you around as you train?
Dude, he does not. I didn't bring him because I thought you might have I know your dog goes with you a lot. I didn't bring him today because of that, but literally he does not leave my side. Like he goes to St. Louis with me. Like I've had him since he was 7 weeks old, and literally wherever I'm at in the gym, he is right there. He does not leave my side.
He hops up on your lap in the middle of.
Oh yeah, I'll hop up on my lap, and that's when everybody relaxes in the room. Like if they don't know me, he'll hop up on my lap, and they see me over there like blowing into his mouth, blowing his cheeks out, his jowls out, and they're like, okay, this guy's weird, but also he's not a threat. Right. You know what I mean? I'm just over there being a weirdo, with my dog.
So the pet peeves are like cell phones. I don't care if you're on a piece of equipment and you want to sit and use your phone, but you're using it.
Yeah.
The only time I get like hot is like I will stand not uncomfortably close, but in a proximity that like I'm probably waiting on something. Yeah. And when you're on your phone, it's happening to everybody. Like, I want to get on that equipment. That's that's the only leg curl in here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. the on the phone, like you're not even you're just on Instagram,
dude. You know, like what's even worse than that is this is a pet peeve of mine. Having a long conversation, like if you're expecting a phone call and you answer real quick and it's like, hey, I'm in the middle of a workout, or you have to answer just like, you know, there's a lot of business people that work out in the gym and stuff like that. If they need to answer real quick, like, hey, yes, no.
Put your headset on,
yes,
keep going if you need
yes,
to.
no, whatever. But like if you're having this loud conversation on the gym floor, now that right there, I'm like, dude, or I love when people bring their kids and stuff like that. But if you have a kid that's wild, you know what I mean? And just running and acting a fool. It's like, dude, everybody comes here for stress relief. Like, don't be having that going on.
Yeah. You know, everybody else here has kids too. They left them at home.
It
gets dangerous too.
It's very dangerous. Yeah. I'm having kids on the gym floor that like kids that are familiar with the weight room and stuff like that. That's a different thing. Right. And that are about it and want to be there. That's awesome. But just having a bunch of kids on the gym floor is a huge pet peeve to me. And I've actually had people, it's not all positive, because I've had a lot of people like, well, why don't you allow kids on the gym floor and all this? And I'm like, because it's dangerous.
The kids and the people.
And I would feel responsible if something happened, honestly, you know. And you, as a gym owner, you might be held responsible. But I would feel, besides that, I would feel bad.
I grew up, my dad owned a gym before I was born. Growing up, my kids always
I've had a lot of conversations with your dad. Nick, I love your dad. Yeah.
So,
and your mom. Your mom's awesome.
So, and what always resonates, like, this is not a playground. I remember as a kid, hey, my dad called me Bub. Bub, this is not a playground. Yeah. This isn't your fucking playground. Yeah. You know, I got my ass chewed plenty of times. For you know, because it also becomes, when it's your dad's gym, it also becomes
your reflection of him.
Well, no, but it also becomes like, well, then no one's there. I fucking run all over this. I own this. So then it's like you have to have a different. You know, and I tried the same with my kids. If we go into rage, like you will walk, you're going to sit over here, and if you need me, you'll walk over. You're not, this is the place you run.
But your kids can outlift half the gym population.
Samuel's pretty freaking strong. I don't know if you ever see him lift. I do take him over there to lift with me at Nixa. I think people think he's just, you know, he's 80 pounds, but like he gets after it.
I see some of the videos you post on Instagram. I'm like, oh, this kid.
He was working out when I left the house. Him and Kylie. But this is not a playground. This is, you know, you need to. That can become a pet peeve. Yeah. The other thing, and this is what it's kind of funny, but couples that live together, and then I don't know the names, so I can't name. I could tell you who it was, and you would know the names. But there's a couple that I'll see in there. It's like I'll do a set, you do a set.
I can tell this really bothers him. No, he's building on it so it's like he's trying to gather everything in
It's
him.
Funny. But then then I'll sit on the bench and you'll come and I'll rest my head on your titties. And you'll rub the back of my head.
That's a little cringy.
Yeah, bro. And then I'll put I'll rest my head on your titties, and you'll rub the back of my head, and I'll put my hands on your butt and just kind of like rub, and then we'll go back to doing a set. I'm like, well, first of all, give us a show. Yeah, you know, let's really get this.
Yeah, if you're gonna go there, let's kick it up a notch.
Yeah. Let's really get this going. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I don't have a headrest. Yeah, you know, number one, I don't have anywhere to rest my head. But
you should go do that the next time.
You could assume that's another piece of equipment, and that's where the guy's going wrong. You know what I mean? Like, at that point, it becomes fair game.
Yeah, but it's between every time. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? If your girlfriend, if Kylie came with me between sets and she wouldn't like pull my sweaty ass head and pet my head, like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I'm guessing that couple you're probably talking about don't really sweat though either. So you got to imagine the work's probably not really being done.
Yeah. I'm
dude. That's where stuff's changed though. You see quite a bit of that.
That's different. Like that's a to me, like, sometimes it's very affectionate. I'm like, this is.
That's what I'm saying. That's where stuff's
changed. This is weird. Bro,
when I was driving to the gym when I was younger, like getting ready to train whoever I was dating at the time, long list of girls.
Every girl I've tried to rest my head on their chest.
Once this video gets shared, because I'm helping the video right now. The long list of girls. Once we enter the car and you know I'm going to the gym, don't talk to me. Because I'm a lot. That was the mentality though. Like, I have my favorite song on. It was probably a CD because I'm old. Favorite CD in. Don't talk to me. Don't touch. Once we get to the gym, if you touch me, dude, after we leave the gym, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Yeah.
Is that just the girls?
No, guys too. Guys too. Okay. I didn't have the bleach blonde hair then. I was straight. Do
you know who Ty is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you know exactly.
All right.
I'm gonna get a picture and put them up.
That's funny you say that about like the girlfriends, because Brooke could tell you a couple stories of me just kind of being a dick to her, like when we're on the way to the gym. A few years ago when I first moved down here, I'm like, I'm getting ready to train. Like, I'm not trying to fucking like do whatever you want to do.
I love my wife. I think she's super hot. Hey, after the gym, I am game to do whatever
it's on.
You want.
It's on.
But leave me alone. Like it's the guy too. And every girl I've tried resting my head on their titties at Rage has told me no.
Yeah. I'm not allowed in the gym.
My wife said stop doing it. You're like, what? I'm like, what are you doing?
I've seen the other guy doing it. I thought it was complimentary.
Yeah, he can do it.
That's part of the VIP membership. The recovery and the titty rest.
Oh man.
That's one that's like I don't.
That's a big pet peeve. Yeah.
What do you know?
What? I do have more pet peeves than I realize now that you're bringing some of them
cell phones
and the titty
talking.
rest.
Yeah, just the constant affection is I don't know. I guess it doesn't impede my workout unless I'm waiting on the equipment.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't have to do that here.
Yeah. There's my pet, like it really wouldn't even bother me unless, like you said, unless I was waiting on a piece of equipment that they were like taking their time being all over each other or whatever. Because otherwise, I'd be like, I would see it and kind of laugh to myself or whatever, and move on. But that would frustrate me for sure. Yeah.
I it's a lot. A little like a little hug, kiss in the forehead or something.
Yeah.
No
but for
problem.
me, that's not
this.
Even
The one I'm thinking of, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like there's like you're gonna get her pregnant in here.
Yeah. And maybe a few surrounding.
Yeah. I know because I've asked, but I was like, hey, why is this restroom locked inside of the set?
So I've had some wild stuff with okay, we can go. Do you want me to go into a few gym stories?
Let's go into some gym stories.
Here's hey, so do you need a key? Why is this restaurant? He goes, bro, people fuck in there.
Dude, I come into Campbell one day. I come into Campbell Gym one day. I don't think it was that long after we had opened it, and I go upstairs, and by the little dumbbell section that's upstairs, there's two handprints like this. And a face print like this.
Oh no!
It's like that. Yeah, dude. A face print like this. I pulled up the camera and yeah. They had an OnlyFans account.
Which one?
Huh? Well, I don't know if you guys were going to ask us how I was able to open up Kingsley, but that gives you a little indicator of how we gathered up the money.
So it's a little seed money.
So the hands were about this size.
Little scratches from his beard.
Yeah.
But no, it's out in the open?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's two layers to that, because the first is like, hey, this is a business, don't do that. And then there's the other layer of like, I'm never been able to get a chick to do that.
I never even thought of talking to her.
You're just walking around pissed.
Yeah. I'm mad you did that. But how'd you do that?
Yeah.
You wouldn't even go to coffee with me.
Yeah.
I'm mad that you did that. That's really ballsy. What can you just tell? Like, what time of day is this?
It was in the middle of the night when it happened. Okay. Yeah, there was nobody else in the gym.
But they knew there's cameras.
I assume they did. There's some people that's their thing.
Yeah, that is true.
That's their thing. That's their thing.
That's true.
Are they still members?
No.
Because of that incident?
Yes. Yes.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing to do. Yeah, but like I said, that is, some people are into that.
Well, now that I think about this couple I was thinking of is not that bad.
Yeah.
They're not that bad.
No.
Yeah. It could, what you're saying is
it's all perspective.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
It could be better too.
Depends on how you're looking at it. Yeah.
Terrible looking.
Yeah. Because that's a win-win, really, because if they take it that far, they're probably going to get removed from the gym, so you don't have to deal with that anymore, and you get the show before they're gone. Yeah. So that's great.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. Like, this is really selfish, bud. You know,
we're not all getting the same affection. Yeah. I'm over there blowing in Slag's mouth, blowing his mouth out. I look over like,
you're doing that. The guy next to's getting a hand job.
Yeah. It's like, what's happening right now?
That's amazing. Yeah, please do tell. Let's get a couple stories out of you.
Dude, there's been so much. Like, not even just gyms.
Does that surprise you? Is that every gym?
Yeah, dude, there's wild stuff like that in every gym. There's wild stuff like that. Like, it's not an all the time thing, but like you see the wildest stuff. I mean,
it's probably any business, any public,
any group and then gathering. Like, dude, if you're really into working out, let's also be honest about that. If you're really into working out, it's been my life. It's been a lot of other people's life. You got a couple screws loose, and that's how you balance it. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna get some wild ones.
All the personalities that come with it.
Yeah, you get all the personalities that comes with it, which is what makes it great. Right. Honestly, you know what I mean. That's what makes it great. You know.
Yeah. Well, I know the time I asked, it must have just happened. Because I was like, I think there was only the two. It was only the two gyms.
Yeah, it was just Campbell. Yeah,
Campbell. He was like frustrated, like, bro, people fucking that restaurant.
Yeah, it was just a little.
I just need to take a leak. I promise.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
What's the worst type of gym member you've had? Like, maybe just like they were just so annoying, they kept coming to you with like complaints or whatever. Even if you have anybody like that.
Complaints, I don't really. If the complaints are valid, like if it's a legitimate thing, those actually don't bother me. I kind of get fired up on fixing problems. Like, that's the kind of the stuff I like. Like, even doing more and more gyms, like, people are like, dude, why do you want that much stress? So I like that kind of thing. Like, I like solving problems essentially. But the things I really hate is people that complain, and it's like about things that you're doing and you're doing. So like, if you've been a member of the gym or you come to the gym, regardless if you like the gym or love the gym, you know how much we do. Like, we constantly are bringing equipment in, we're constantly making improvements nonstop. And then there'll still be people that literally, like, here's where you have to ride a fine line too, of trying to make people happy, because you're not going to make everybody happy. If I make a change at Kingsley, I'm going to get a message from somebody in Nixa, and it's like, well, why isn't Nixa getting that? Or why isn't this happening? It's like, dude, there's almost nothing I would change about Nixa. That's one thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's only so much space there, obviously, too. But I hand selected all those pieces because those are some of the best pieces, whether they're older or newer. Mm-hmm. Those pieces are the great pieces. And I'm using this for an example, but like, it's like, dude, you would just be swapping stuff to swap stuff at that point. And we're not about that. We're just always trying to improve. So the people that really harp on you when you're just constantly improving about, like, well, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? It's like, hey, dude, there's only so many hours in the day.
This is broke.
Yeah, there's only so many hours. We're awesome, dude. We haven't, there's nothing that stays broke for very long in our clubs.
Everything's fixed really quick.
We have somebody that reupholster stuff in house. Like, you'll very rarely see stuff that's ripped even. You know what I mean?
They're very clean. They're very like behind the dumbbells are clean.
We have cleaning teams. Like, we spend tons of money. We built our own cleaning teams. We have a great crew of cleaning teams. One of the people that are on the cleaning teams is me and her mom dated when she was very young, from 2 years old. She's 16 and a half now, and she works for me, which is awesome. Like, we put a lot into the cleaning teams, and we pay them very well too.
No, that's one thing. I've even wanted to like reach out and just, if I don't think I ever have, just to tell you now, like, those, I want to, like, I don't shower at the gym, so I want to like, I'll peek in there, like, fucking kudos.
Yeah.
Your gyms are so, especially for the hardcore vibe. Like, people, I think sometimes associate, like, it's got to be a little dusty.
Hardcore doesn't mean gross.
Right.
Rusty stuff. Like, it's as clean as any corporate cleaner, honestly, than any corporate gym. It's some of the cleanest gyms I've ever been.
That is a big pet peeve.
People are, for the most part, are pretty good about helping out and cleaning up stuff. And
for the most part, people are, well, I think that's because we keep them so clean. They feel the need to keep it clean. Like, where if you don't maintain your gym very well, people are just going to kind of, it's like anything else. If you walk into a house and you're like, man, this place is kept really nice and everything's kind of in order, you feel weird to like mess stuff
leave
up.
Something out of place.
But if not, then it's like when you go to, after dinner, put your dish away or whatever, you might just leave it in the sink because the rest of the kitchen's messed up or whatever.
No, I do it. And this is not to say people leave their stuff. I'm sure I have, right?
Yeah.
I've left weights on stuff. But I try to leave it better than I found. So if I notice someone use something to, like, I'll go with, like, shit, everything's so nice. Or maybe I'm the last one, if it's an evening or something, last one in there to kind of pick up, because it's so nice when you get in there.
Yeah.
It's just respecting other people's businesses too. I mean, it's crazy to go into anybody's business, and
that's kind of a gym thing. Is they have a cleaning crew. They'll pick it up.
They have employees that'll pick up my weights or whatever. That's what they get paid for. Yeah. It's like, well, yes, if they need to.
And I've also been in there when I think the staff leaves at 7 at Nixa. And so whoever's working, I'll see them come out. They do a once over, clean everything up, make sure the weights are balanced on everything. Like I said, it's a lot of work that goes into. I really haven't thought about, like, there was a girl. It was a while back that was working. I'm like, geez, like, she was because you're paying them. They're on the clock, whether they're just sitting in the office. She's out doing stuff. It might have been the girl you're talking about the whole time. She's cleaning the whole time.
Yeah, they're always going.
Place looked immaculate, smells good. Yeah.
Really, I appreciate that.
Yeah. The AC works, the heat works in the winter. That's probably my favorite part about the Rage gyms. So I hate training in the cold. So I won't train in my garage.
I like training I honestly like the heat.
I love the heat.
Like as long as there's air moving, I like the heat, but the cold, ugh, if I have to wear layers now.
Yeah. That's why I like the outside stuff. I like getting outside in the sun and sweating and working. I don't like being hot, but I do like being hot working out.
Yeah.
Once you break a sweat and go. Yeah. Tell us, where do you see, you'd mentioned, fitness is as popular as it's ever been. It's kind of the dichotomy because we're also, as a society, also as sick as we've ever been. And so I think that's kind of the pushback, right? On get healthy, you're working out. We're
super divided on all fronts. So it makes sense if you think about it. Like everything's divided, right? Like it's one extreme or the other. And that's what you see right now. Like people that are into health right now, even look at what we're having to do with the gyms. There's recovery rooms in the gyms now because people are so into their health that come to the gym. So gyms are putting in recovery rooms and all this extra expense for those people, which we're grateful to have those people and do that. But it's one extreme or the other. Like there's nothing that's very casual anymore or just, good balance anymore. So it's either you're completely not into fitness at all or you're all in almost for a lot of people, I think for a big majority of people. Yeah.
That's cool. Where do you, I guess, talk a bit about like what you've seen change in the 6 years you've been in it?
Yeah.
And where do you see it going?
The things that I've seen change the most is just the younger population, like how much they're into it. That just seems to keep growing, which is awesome because those people are going to get older. They're going to be healthier. Those are going to be members. And that's the other thing, dude. Obviously I'm big on Rage because I'm part of Rage. But I just want people working out in general. I don't care where it is, what they're doing. Just they need to be doing something. But where I see it going is, I think you're just going to kind of keep seeing it evolve. I think we're going to see some weird stuff though too, right? Like we're already seeing it with like Ozempic, if I'm saying that right, and all of this because there's starting to be these. There's always been some shortcuts you could take to kind of aid in if you're into fitness, right? And if you're working out, now you're starting to see some shortcuts that will take away from fitness because it's giving people a lazy, easy way out. Like we've always had things like supplements and all that stuff, and that stuff's making us better, and it's aiding in longevity and all these things. And with some of these prescription things you're seeing, some of them are great, but people are going to take them way too far, and there's going to be a lot of people that take them way too far because there's a lot of very lazy people, or they don't need them. That's what I'm saying, or they don't need them. So it's really hard to predict where fitness is going, but I see it I've heard a lot of people say well, this is a phase. I think this is going to die off at some point. As far as because you see more and more gyms opening, there's more supplement companies, all of these things, right? I think it just keeps going. Honestly, I don't think it's going anywhere, but I think it is going to change because we're seeing a rapid change with everything. In the last couple years, especially, I think we're seeing a real rapid change in the way people are going about stuff, and I think that we're going to see the gym space is going to become very strange because, like you said, we've built gyms that are somewhat of a destination gym. You could probably walk in any of them and say, "Oh, this is a destination gym." Because so many people are in fitness, you're going to see this get out of hand, though, right? Even some of the stuff that we've done, I'm like, man, is this really necessary? And then a lot of people use it, and I'm like, okay, there's a need for it, so it's great, right? But there's going to get to a point where in the gym space and all of that I feel like it's just going to get pushed too far. The gyms are becoming a nightclub almost too. You see a lot of these gyms opening, and it's dude, this is taking away from the workout now, right? This is not adding to the experience. This is not motivating. This is just you're turning it into a destination gym because of the lighting and this, that, and the other. And it's just getting too crazy. You know what I mean? Club. Yeah. So I think you'll see some of that stuff kind of fall off. I think the things that really work.
If you go too far in one direction, that becomes a fad.
Yeah. And I think you'll see some of that kind of start to fall off. And then I really have confidence in what we're doing because I've been doing it since I was 11. So I know what works and what stays, and some of those core things stay, and it's just like you guys in your company. You guys use your product, you live it, blah, blah, blah. You guys know, like, regardless of what needs to be brought out because there's a certain group of people using it or whatever, you guys, if you make a pivot, you're going to have that core stuff that you have that works and you're going to use every day. And that's why there's going to be longevity in what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I was going back to what you said at the beginning is like you curate these gyms with stuff equipment that you've used, you want to use, like it's kind of built in your image. Like I know this stuff is good equipment.
Yeah.
And that's the same way we formulate products here.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
It sounds like altruistic, like we're this, like, but we really do, like, we make products for guys like you and me who want results, and that's a tough thing to balance sometimes, to not chase the fad, not chase the, there's a lot of companies like ours that if you can jump and jump on an ingredient or something and make a quick buck. Mm-hmm. But long term, when those companies well, it turns out that's bunk.
Yeah.
And because you chase that, then you start getting, the sometimes right for the slander and stuff for pushing the science behind it. Yeah. When it's not really there, you chase a fad. So it is, we kind of stay in a lane of what do we know really works?
Yeah.
Same in the gym. What do we know really works? And how can we get results with what we're putting on the table?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've said it before, but you guys you've done such a good job. I don't want to say surprisingly so, like, I can't believe you're a success, but
I get surprised. Once in a while I stop, I'm like, dude, like it's just really
beyond,
awesome.
I mean, but beyond what I would have thought, back in the day as a 19-year-old Sylas, like what always liked you, always had a good relationship, but then to see a friend and stuff do the things you and Brandon have done with the gyms, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of you guys, proud to be a part of it, and see all the growth. It's really been great for the community here in Springfield.
I appreciate that.
We talk to and having Titan in there with the smoothie and stuff, and just having logos up, man, it's cool.
It's very cool.
It's a fun thing to watch.
Yeah.
So look forward to seeing what you guys do next.
I appreciate that.
Stop in the Rages and get a smoothie fueled by Titan Nutrition. And get a great workout.
Rage gyms are the shit. Like, they really are. Like, anytime people come in town, if like, where do we, like, also, like, if they want to work out here, we got you really need to go to Rage.
Mm-hmm.
If they're into working out, I'm like, you really need to go to Rage and go to this location, just because it's fucking cool.
Dude, when you got people moving in from out of state and they're not familiar with Rage, right? But they're moving to Springfield for whatever reason it may be, and then you tell them the price of the gym membership where you get all the locations.
Yes,
right. They're like,
what? Huh?
Yeah, they're like, what? And so that right there is cool that we're able to do that here. Mm-hmm. Like, how long, and here's the other thing, the reason why Rage is the way the Rage is because how long, like, as we were coming up and training, like, I wish I had a gym like this when I was younger, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you lose the appreciation for it. But when I travel, there's getting to be a lot of great gyms. Don't get me wrong. I don't think, there's tons of great gyms. But when you travel and you go to one of these gyms that is a destination gym and you walk in there, and I've had so many of the members say this because the people that come to the gym, like, they're into it. They travel to go to other gyms. They'll come back and be like, well, that gym wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it looked really good on Instagram.
Yes.
And I don't think we disappoint very often.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think.
No. Even when we have athletes all over the country, when we have them, when they come in town, we're like, you can train here.
Yeah.
But you should go.
To Rage.
Yeah, you should go. I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah.
By any standard, anywhere in the country, it's really impressive. The pricing, guys. Yeah. If you're looking at, if you're
we're not even trying to be. We're talking about the pricing, but we're not even trying to be the cheapest. We don't run specials. We don't do any of that. We're not trying to be the cheapest. We're trying to be the best that we can,
leave it
affordable.
Yeah. Bang for your buck.
Yes.
Bang for your buck. It is the cheapest. It's the best deal you can get. It's just a cool whole. The package.
That's why Titan aligns so well with Rage. Same.
We're not trying to be the cheapest.
Same.
Yeah.
Trying to give you the best bang for your buck.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I've
that's why you guys are in our gyms.
But we want to be the best. We want to be the best brand you can buy. So for the best, we want to curate products for results.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sylas, thank you much.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thanks for having me on.
We'll do it again.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Next one.